Hi students, today our topic is hepatitis. So we know that hepatitis means it is related to the infection of liver. So it is the inflammation in the liver, and the most common causes of this inflammation is hepatotrophic viral infection. Means this hepatitis is mainly caused by a virus, and it may be caused due to the excessive use of, means more use of hepatotrophic drugs, and it can be increased with the prolonged consumption of alcohol. Means increased intake of alcohol can lead to liver damage, as well as it can finally go through the hepatitis. So this is about the hepatitis definition, inflammation of liver, and what are the common causes we are seeing. If you see what's happening in the hepatitis, means a pathogenesis or pathophysiology, means first a virus. If consider this, it's a virus. It tends to target the cells in the liver. These are the liver cells. First it's target the liver cells, and after targeting it come inside the liver cells and infect these cells. So one of these cells is infected, and when it infected, it comes out, means a protein called MHC class 1 molecules. Using a protein via MHC class 1 molecule, it presents an abnormal condition. At the same time, here the immune cells also infiltrate in the liver, and these immune cells will try to figure out what's going on in this condition. So what are the immune cells here is, this is the CD8 plus T cells, or the immune cells which recognizes the abnormal proteins. Means these CD8 plus T cells means they came to know that something is going to happen, that these MHC cells, means these abnormal proteins are attacked by some virus. So these CD8 plus T cells are recognize these abnormal proteins, and later if you see here, these the hepatocytes then go through the cytotoxic killing. Means hepatocytes means which these are the liver cells. They undergo the cytotoxic killing by T cells, and later apoptosis process. Apoptosis, we know that it is a death of the cell. After cytotoxic killing, it goes to the apoptosis process. And here if you see next, these hepatocytes undergo apoptosis and referred to as Councilman bodies. Means when the hepatocytes undergoes apoptosis, we'll call that as a Councilman bodies. Here we can see that these are the liver cells. We can see here in the histology clearly, and this typically takes place in the portal tracts and lobules of the liver. So here this cytotoxic killing of if you see here, this cytotoxic killing of the liver cells, that is hepatocytes, it is a main mechanism behind the inflammation of the liver, and eventually it causes a liver damage. Means first it starts with the hepatotoxic killing, and then it goes to liver cell apoptosis, and eventually it causes a liver damage. Means what is the main progression of the liver damage? Means it starts with the cytotoxic killing. So we will say that it is a mainly involved mechanism behind the inflammation of the liver. Okay, if you see what are the symptoms involved here, means as the hepatitis progress, the symptoms related to immune system, what we are seeing means fever, malaise, nausea, hepatomegaly. Hepatomegaly means we can clearly see that this is a normal liver. Hepatomegaly means enlarged liver with some kind of any inflammation. So here the normal liver is get enlarged with the inflammation, and this can also cause after when it get inflamed, it can also cause some pain. As more damage is done to the liver, we can see the amount of transaminase in the blood is increased. Means this is the enlarged liver, that is hepatomegaly. More damage occurs there, we can see this blue color one, these are the transaminases. Amount of transaminase in the blood is decreased. This is why this is increased. Why this is increased means because of liver has this transaminase enzyme which will break down various amino acids. Because of these transaminase enzymes, which it will break down the various amino acids. And here we can also see this serum aminotransaminesis is very low, but when hepatocytes starts getting damaged, they start leaking this into the blood. Here we can see inside the liver these aminotransamineses are low, and upon gradual damage of the liver, they starts leaking into the blood. So the common sign is that there is a greater amount of both the ALT, that is nothing but alanine aminotransferase, and AST, nothing but aspartate aminotransferase. This is the common thing. What we are observing here is there is a these two levels in the blood is increased, but here, and a slight difference is here if we observe here, the ALT level will have greater increase in the viral hepatitis. Means in case of viral hepatitis, the ALT levels are increased. So if we see this, due to these levels of atypical lymphocytes are common in viral hepatitis, what we call this means due to this increased atypical lymphocytes, we can call this as a atypical lymphocytosis. This is about the atypical lymphocytosis, and here we can clearly see that. So when we see here, these lymphocytes are usually very large due to the stimulation from the antigens. In our case, if we see here, these hepatitis virus antigens containing patients often also end up with developing jaundice. Means due to these large cells, they can also have the jaundice condition. Means jaundice is where we can see it is mixed up with the conjugated bilirubin and unconjugated bilirubin. This is the CB is nothing but conjugated bilirubin and unconjugated bilirubin. If you see what happens in the conjugated bilirubin, means it leaks out when bile duct walls when bile ducts are damaged or destroyed. When these hepatocytes die, because these hepatocytes make some of its lining, since these hepatocytes are dying, it starts to lose the ability to conjugate bilirubin and make some water soluble, so that it will end up with unconjugated bilirubin. Since these two bilirubins are present in the blood, some of the water soluble conjugated bilirubin gets filtrated into the, if you see here, this conjugated bilirubin is leaked into the blood, and both unconjugated bilirubin remains in the blood. If you see what happens in this condition, means as these two are present in the blood, the water molecule bilirubin gets filtrated in the urine, and this gives a darker color of urine. And what is another common finding we are observing here is this is increased urobilinogen in the urine. It is what is urobilinogen means? It is produced when bilirubin is reduced in the gut by intestinal microbes, and normally most of this is reabsorbed and transported back to the liver for conversion into the bilirubin or bile. But here, if these liver cells are not, as here these liver cells are not working, so that the urobilinogen is redirected to kidneys and excreted, and here it is also end up with more urobilinogen in the urine, because it is not reabsorbed into the, so it is not converted into the bilirubin, so it is redirected into the kidneys, and it end up with the more urobilinogen in the urine. Here, if symptoms continue, or virus sticks around this more than 6 months, viral hepatitis goes from acute to up to 6 months. We'll call that as a acute condition. If the symptoms continue more than the 6 months, then it goes to the chronic phase, where at this point the inflammation mostly occurs in the portal tract, and if the inflammation or any fibrosis is keep on going, then we can consider it as a severe condition, since it might be progressing to post necrosis necrotic cirrhosis. This is about the this is how the hepatitis is involved in the liver cells. And here the next one is what are the types of hepatitis we are going to see, and what how we are going to diagnose these types. Okay, we'll see individually. The first one is hepatitis A. We'll call that as a HAV. It is nothing but hepatitis A virus. Here it is transmitted through ingestion of the contaminated food or water, means via fecal and oral route, and it is well known to be acquired by the travelers. And here if we consider this HAV, it is more acute, and essentially there is no chronic condition. And if you see the serology, means serological involved, means that is nothing but test involved here, means IgM antibodies, means it indicates a active infection. If it is in this condition, if IgG antibodies, which is an protective antibody, and we can confirm this as a recovery from the HIV or vaccination, means we can consider this as a recovery or vaccinated condition. And if we go for the next one, that is nothing but the second one, HEV virus. HE virus, it is similar to the HIV in all aspects, like which contains the same route of transmission, that is through fecal to oral route by contaminated food and water, and it is most commonly acquired through undercooked seafood or contaminated water. In this condition, if you see, this is more acute than, and here also if, we can observe that there is no chronic condition. And here what are the serological tests involved here, means as the same HEV IgM antibodies refers to the active infection, and HEV IgG antibodies refers to the recovery. But if we see both HEV and HEV, we see the major difference between these two types is there is no vaccination in the HEV type. That is, in the second type we don't see the vaccination condition. Only in the HEV condition we can see we can observe the vaccination. And the next one is, in this HEV infection, it is very serious in case of pregnant women. Means HEV virus is serious in pregnant women, and this can lead to the acute liver failure, and also sometimes it is known as fulminant hepatitis. So HEV virus, HEV is referred as fulminant hepatitis, and it is also more serious in the pregnant women. It also causes to the acute liver failure, and here we don't observe any vaccination like HAV. And the third one is HCV. Here the transmission is via blood, that is from childbirth or IV drug abuse or due to unprotected sex. And in this condition, in the first two conditions we see that the infection is acute but there is no chronic. But in the third condition, that is the third type, here the infection moves from the acute to the chronic condition. And if we see there are some couple of tests used to diagnose the HCV virus. That is the serological test involved is, the first one is enzyme immunoassay test. Here we screen for the HCV IgG antibodies. If present, it does not necessary to confirm whether it is acute or chronic or even resolved infection, because it is not regarded as a protective antibody. But a major difference between the first two and the third one is, the first two are considered as a protective antibodies, but the third one, that is HCV, is not protective. So for that condition, in case of enzyme immunoassay test, we need not go for the confirmatory test. And to be more specific confirmation, we can also use that recombinant immunoblot assay. This test is used to help for the confirmation of HCV, and it is more specific and less sensitive than immunoassay. Clinically, this recombinant test doesn't provide much information, and actually it needs some additional supplement test to be sure it is to be positive. And that additional test is nothing but this HCV RNA test, which we consider that as a gold standard test for the HCV. And why we use this test is we can use this by using PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction. We can detect the virus very early, that is nothing but early detection, means 1 to 2 weeks after infection. Basically, it also detects the levels of viral RNA in the blood. This tells about what are the levels of virus circulating. If RNA levels begins to decrease, it means that the patient is recovering. If RNA remains same, then it refers that the patient is having chronic HCV. This is about the HCV. And the next one is HBV. If you consider this, it is just like a HCV, means it is transmitted via blood, that is from childbirth, unprotected sex, and it is also moves from the acute to chronic condition. And here, if we go for the serological test, it means we can see certain types of test involved. Here is the PCR, where the PCR is used to look for the certain markers, especially before going to the serological test, this HBV is mainly depends on the age, that is age about someone get infected, means it may occur in the patients with early age, that is less than 6 years of old, means children are more affected of, means 50% of the children are affected with the chronic infection. And also this disease is progressed in the younger adults. And this chronic HBV is also associated with the liver cancer. And if you go for the test involved, we'll use the PCR to look for the markers. And what are the markers here is, the first one, HBV antigen. And in the HBV antigen, based on the presence or absence, we can confirm the virus. The key marker for the HBV infection is the first one here, HBV surface antigen. We can call that as HBsAg, means HBV surface antigen. Hepatitis B surface antigen. And the another marker involved is the core antigen, means it comes from the core of the HBV. We can call this as a HBcAg, means hepatitis B core antigen. And the next one is E antigen. This E antigen is secreted by the infected cells, and it is a marker of the active infection. And these are like the byproducts, and along with the viral DNA, this tells that it is replicating and infecting. If you say about the onset of infection during the acute phase, our surface antigen will be present and will come up the positive, and there will be having both the viral DNA and E antigen at this point. And this immune system, and here the immune system produces IgM antibodies against the core antigens, and here the IgG antibodies will protect the surface antigen. At this point, the host enters into the phase called the window phase. In this window phase, this can last for several weeks to months, and the only thing that can be detected during this stage is IgM core antibodies. Here the host is transmitted to the chronic conditions, that is whether it may be healthy or it may be infective. If it is the viral hepatitis, as it continuing after 6 months, the chronic host is present in sort of healthy, means it have a presence of surface antigen and core antibodies, and there is no DNA or E antigens, and this is not replicating, and the host is contagious, and there is a lower risk, means when the host enters into the healthy condition, the host is not replicating and it is and it is contagious and about lower risk, and it will have the presence of surface antigens, core antibody, and no DNA or E antigens. And there is another option for us. If there is an infection, means in condition of the chronic, in case of chronic condition, if it is infective, then it increases the risk of post necrotic cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. This is about the HBV virus, that is the fourth one. Next we'll go to fifth virus. Fifth virus, that is nothing but HDV virus. It is very unique and it needs HBV virus. Means it is determined by the HBV. It is completely dependent on the HBV virus. It can infect only host if it has HBV. Means we can say that if it infects at the same time, it is called as a co-infection. Or else if it infects us, sometimes it infects later, it called as a super infection, which is more severe than the co-infection. What we will do in the serological, means what we observe in the test is, in this condition either IgG or IgM antibodies are present. Means either of these two are present, that indicates an active infection. Here IgG is not a protective antibody. And also the main treatment for this is we have to control the infection of the HBV. Okay, so far we discussed here about the types of hepatitis and pathophysiology, and what are the diagnoses involved in the different types of hepatitis. And if you go for the treatment for these various types, the first one is HAV virus. Here the diet restriction and bed rest is based on the individual patient, and lactose is used to reduce the absorption of ammonia from the gut, and oral non-absorbable antibiotics are for the fulminant hepatitis, and also IM administration of immune serum globulin for prophylaxis, and vaccination is necessary. And in case of HBV virus, the ORS therapy to restore the water and electrolyte balance, best to avoid the alcohol and hepatotoxic drugs, and also bed rest is needed. Interferon therapy is suggested, and the symptomatic therapy like diuretics, protein rich food, and vitamin K injections. For why vitamin K injection is used, means to avoid any spontaneous bleeding, and other antibiotics can be used to control the if it is a presence of if we see any presence of other infections. And the next one is HCV virus. In this we'll use antiviral therapy of interferon alpha. We can use this interferon alpha as single, or we can use with the combination drug. That combination drug is nothing but the ribavirin, that is 1 gram per day, and symptomatic therapy and immunomodulators are recommended. And HDV virus, we can use interferon therapy, and the main precaution we need to go here is control of HBV infection, because this HDV virus needs a HBV infection, means it is completely dependent on the HBV. So we need to control, first we need to control the infection of the HB virus. And in case of HEV, the treatment is similar to that of the HAV virus, and lactose and dietary modifications are necessary. And there is another type of hepatitis, that is HGV. It is not much important, and it is a single stranded RNA virus which is transmitted by the blood transfusion, and interferons are used to treat this condition. This is about the treatment.